Okay, so at the top of the hour, so we're going to get started on today's session, building better beyond the classroom. So thanks everybody for coming in here. So we have a short amount of time, and so to start the session off today, it's going to be Dr. Thomas Ray talking about a really interesting collaboration between his 4H students and the Centre for Black Health and Equity. So Thomas, over to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let you pick it up. And you're muted just in case, Thomas, as well.
Great. Thank you, Jason. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or whatever it is where you are. We're really excited for the opportunity to share with you a little of our story of a project that started actually just after COVID did. And so it's a project we've been working on for quite a while, but my name is Thomas Ray, and I have several folks here with me today that are going to chime in as we go. So we'll start with introductions. Barbara?
Hello, my name is Varvara Vidushina. I'm a volunteer of 4H GS Club for 2 years, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
And Morgan?
Hi, I'm Morgan Chu. I'm a rising freshman at Duke University, and I've been doing GIS and been on this team for 3 years now.
And Nikhil?
Hello, everyone. My name is Nikhil Patel. I'm a rising junior at Enloe High School, and I've been doing GIS for a couple of months now. So I'm always so excited to learn more.
And Ahan?
Hey, everyone. I'm Ahan. I'm a rising freshman at Williams College, and I've been doing GIS for about 4 years.
And I don't believe Jalen is with us today, so we're gonna move on. So special thanks to all of these partners you see on the screen for helping make this project happen. And so Ahan is going to start us off.
Okay, so just a quick introduction about us and the Center for Black Health and Equity. The application we'll be discussing today was made in collaboration between the Center for Black Health and Equity and the Wake County 4H GIS Club. The Center for Black Health and Equity is a nonprofit organization dedicated to addressing social, political, and economic injustices that have caused health disparities in marginalized communities. And the 4H Club is the largest youth development organization in the United States, focused on engaging youth in hands-on projects and activities in various subjects. The Wake County 4H GIS Club particularly focuses on bringing awareness and taking action on issues in the community, state, and nation through GIS. The Center for Black Health and Equity believes the first step to mobilizing health organizations and communities is to become aware of the root causes of health disparities among African Americans. This means examining and abolishing stigma associated with HIV and AIDS, fighting the tobacco industry's predatory marketing tactics, and reversing the impact of institutional social structures on African American health. As such, the Center for Black Health and Equity wanted a map that would visually represent public health issues affecting counties with African American populations in order to seek funding or influence policy to address these issues. As a response, the Wake County 4H GIS Club stepped in to collaborate with the Center for Black Health and Equity in order to create a mapping application using county health rankings and other data, configure pop-ups, and develop symbols to represent information for the African American community.
The majority of our data, for example, life expectancy and median household income, was gathered from the 2020 County Health Rankings, visualized in Esri's Living Atlas. The County Health Rankings is a product of the collaboration between the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the University of Wisconsin Population Health Institute, and it provides a snapshot of the county's health relative to other counties in the state and across the U.S. Rankings are based on publicly available data and utilize, in most cases, the most recent data available from each respective data source. For example, we use life expectancy from this data set. The source for this variable is the 2016 to 2018 data for the National Center for Health Statistics mortality files. Another example is the population variable that is based on the 2019 census population estimates data. Some sections of our data, for example, stroke and heart disease data, was gathered from the CDC's 2018 or most recent data sets.
Based on the request from the Center for Black Health and Equity, we identified variables that match their research questions. Knowing that we wanted to be able to manipulate the data in the application, we decided that it may be helpful to organize our data in a meaningful way. We joined our data into one set on the county level to include county health ranks, hospitalization rates for stroke, and hospitalization rates for heart disease in one comprehensive data set for filtering and symbolizing. Based on this base data set, we created separate thematic layers like income disparity, firearm fatality disparity, child poverty disparity, and income disparity for visualization of the most significant variables.
The ArcGIS web app builder is a powerful tool that makes it easy to create user-friendly, interactive, and stylish applications to display your data. In the web app builder, you can customize the theme, add custom maps, and configure widgets and much more. We added widgets for filtering, printing, viewing the attributes table, and sliding to view layers. All of this in addition to viewing layers, the legend, and returning to the home extent. To create our base map, we use the ArcGIS Vector Tile Style Editor, which allows you to customize your own base map from the ground up. There are many preset styles to choose from to start with, as well as options to change colors, patterns, text options, and icons. We worked with the Center for Black Health and Equity to get their color codes and logo styles. We adjusted the colors of the land, water, boundaries, roads, and so forth to complement their style colors. We added their logo pattern to the background to brand it for the Center for Black Health and Equity a bit more. We built 2 filters to query data on the Black health information. The first filter was designed to highlight where disparities exist for the Black population compared to the overall population. It includes 7 economic and health indicators, such as life expectancy, the percentage of children in poverty, the rate of infant mortality, median household income, and so on. We designed this filter to use an "and" statement or match all the following expressions, so that when multiple filters are turned on, we would display the counties where all of the disparities apply. Filters allow the visual analysis of information included in the attribute tables in one or several fields at once. The second filter we built was a state selector filter, so that end users who are interested in data at the state level would have an easier time dealing with that data. This filter also applies to the Black health data layer.
There are 5 different layers that you can select while using our map. They are Black population, life expectancy disparity, firearm fatality disparity, child poverty disparity, and income disparity. The initial layer that you will see when opening the map will be the Black population layer, which is represented by shades of brown, which relate to the count of non-Hispanic Black populations in each county. We chose this because we believed it created a visually appealing map that allows users to easily determine which counties have high populations of African Americans. Some of the layers do not have information available for specific counties. So, for example, on the income disparity layer, you can see many counties that have blank shades of color. These represent counties that do not have any data for income disparity and allow users to easily figure out which counties they can actually look for to find out if they have an income disparity or not.
Configuring the pop-up layer menu made it possible to show the most significant variables in the form, allowing to increase the efficiency of information perception. The application provides 5 layers for which the pop-up menu was configured and represented in 2 ways. In the table for the Black population layer and in customizing text for other layers. You can see examples of menu configuration on the slide. Both menus contain information about the county name, the value of the variable for the overall and Black population, and the ratio of the variable values between the overall and Black population. For the table pop-ups, the ratio is displayed using a color scale. For the text pop-ups, using a rate. Thus, the pop-up menu allows not only displaying variables, but conducting analysis through quantitative and qualitative comparison.
So now we'll go into a little demo of our web app. So for the purposes of this demo, we'll pretend that we are a legislator in Kansas City, Missouri, and focused on economic equality. We can start by searching for Kansas City in the address bar and clicking on it. If we then click on the layer list icon, deselect Black population and select income disparities, we can now see that Jackson County, Missouri, the county that Kansas City is located in, has a significant disparity between the median household income of the Black population and that of the overall population. Furthermore, this disparity extends to the area immediately surrounding Jackson County, particularly to the north. However, as we move south, we can notice that Cass County shows the exact opposite, a county where the median income for the Black population is greater than that of the overall population. Keep this in mind as we move forward with this demo. We'll now focus on child poverty disparity. Go back to the layer list, deselect income disparities, and select child poverty disparity. Do you notice anything interesting? Dr. Ray, if you would please open the legend for. Feel free to share your observations in the chat. While many of the same counties that had a significant income disparity have significant disparities in the rate of child poverty, Cass County, a county in which the median income for the Black population was actually greater than that of the overall population, has a greater incidence of child poverty in the Black population than in the overall population. That might be something that you as a legislator would be interested in looking into the causes of.
Okay, so to have a little wrap up for refining and distributing the application, we added documentation links and revised and created more user-friendly filters. We also revised to simplify the interface for public consumers. There are also created tutorials on the application usage. In addition, we are presenting a national webinar on using this application this coming Wednesday. This application is embedded in the Center for Black Health and Equity's website.
All right, so now they've done all the hard work, and we'll come back to are we doing questions now, Jason, or do we want to save questions?
We'll save them for the end. Yeah, we'll come back to it in the end. So
okay, great.
Yeah, thanks, folks. That was fantastic. Really, really, really interesting in terms of just the development of geospatial thinking and the skills, data literacy. And even though there's lots of data that's open, it's not necessarily accessible or meaningful. I think that's where you're going down with that particular route. So thank you very much. We're going to come back to that. So as time's pressing, I'm just going to introduce Fran Harvey.
Okay, thank you, Jason.
Yep.
I'm Fran Harvey from Louisiana, and our 4-H Tech Club has enjoyed a partnership with 4-H on a state and national level for several years, and we appreciate the opportunity to present here today at the Esri Education Summit. The after-school program, our 4-H Tech Club, has inspired youth from half a dozen parishes throughout Louisiana to participate and learn about how to apply GIS to traditional 4-H youth development programs. The project we'll present today is titled, Where's the Food? So we produced a short video to demonstrate what that project is about. Hey, Brianna. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Katherine Winchester. I'm a member of the 4-H Tech Club, a 10th grader attending St. Joseph's Academy in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And here today, along with team members from our National 4-H GIS GPS leadership team, we will be presenting our project, Where is the Food? This project started as my individual project, as a member of the club, which eventually grew into our state project, and later the national project. To kick us off, I'd like to turn it over to Austin Ramsey.
Hi, my name is Austin Ramsey, and I am an adult volunteer with the National 4-H Geospatial Leadership Team. We are a national team composed of multiple states with youth and adult partnerships that work together to solve complex problems that impact our own communities. Now, in 2020, the COVID-19 national health emergency disrupted access to healthy food for millions of American families. So our team, we stepped up to the plate and we partnered with the National 4-H Council to develop a Where's the Food project. This project is about helping local communities identify food disparities and help answer the needs of their communities. And now I would like to turn it over to Tom to tell you about our community youth mapping program.
Hello, my name is Tom Tate. I'm the founder of the Youth Community Mapping Program. And since 2002, across the United States, we've started up local community projects in over 1,000 counties. We are a team of caring adults who mentor middle school and high school students to apply mapping tools to analyzing, collecting data, analyzing, and understanding issues in their community and offer solutions to those. Some of the examples that have occurred over the last several years include mapping the potholes in the streets, identifying places in parks where things are needing repair so the parks can be enjoyed for recreational purposes. We've mapped hot spots where there's extensive abuse of substances in our communities, identifying hot spots where there are obesity outbreaks, and most recently during the COVID-19 epidemic, we are working on the mapping locations and hotspots where there's food deserts and where there are nearby locations for accessing healthy food. I hope you'll get excited about some of these ideas and will team up with us. And I'd like to introduce you to Fran Harvey, who will tell you more about the purposes and goals of our project. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Fran Harvey, director of a nonprofit sponsoring our local 4-H Tech Club. Our purpose for this project is to choose a topic of current relevance which resonates community-wide. Research indicates there is not enough access to healthy food choices. Our experience is the importance of using big data to have a big impact. Our project goal was threefold: to bring awareness of the shortage of accessibility of healthy food in America, to engage youth in understanding the problem and becoming a part of the solution, and lastly, to increase access to healthy food. A unique and new component of this project and the national team is it melds technology, GIS, with 4-H's traditional youth governance and healthy nutrition programs. Now I would like to turn it over to Vibrian to tell you about our methods.
Hi, my name is Vibrian Puri, GIS volunteer leader. We recognize the importance of using GIS technology and crowdsourcing, which is getting influence directly from the people you're trying to affect. To increase access to healthy food, we use GIS technology in several ways. First, we gather data on locations that offer healthy food choices. Then we find locations with low access to healthy food. And finally, we reveal these hotspots of limited access to food, We call these food deserts. We did these things using two of Esri's applications, Survey 123 and Dashboards. Survey 123 is a simple and intuitive form-centric data gathering solution for collecting data on your mobiles, even when disconnected from the internet. We found this beneficial because we wanted to give people in rural areas the ability to fill out the survey. Dashboards present location-based analytics using intuitive and interactive data visualization on a single screen, real time. Our dashboard's main purpose was to inform the community if their healthy food source location has been mapped or not. And now I'd like to turn it over to Katherine Winchester to take a deep dive into Survey 123 and Dashboards.
Hi, my name is Katherine Winchester. I am Where's the Food project lead. The dashboard and survey that I'm about to show you started as my personal project as a member of the club, which eventually grew into the state project and later the national project. This survey is important to our project because it serves as a medium of communication between you and us. Sending entries through the survey helps us hear from you about what you think is important. For this portion of the presentation, I'll demonstrate components of the Where's the Food survey and dashboard. One of the biggest advantages of the survey is that you can fill it out even on your phone. For the name field, you can write your first initial, underscore, followed by your last name. If you want to remain anonymous, you don't have to write anything here. Originally, the name field was required when the survey was only within our club, and the states had a friendly competition to see who could get the most entries, but we decided to make it optional in case you were uncomfortable with adding your real name. For the next question, open the drop-down list and select the state where your food source is located. This information will be valuable to help users of the dashboard filter the data by their state and locate specific points more easily. Write in the name of your source in the next field. I've written the name of my farmer's market below. This data helps users identify specifically which food source they are looking at. For the next question, select the type of food source you are adding to the dashboard. If you don't find it listed here, write it in the other category. Using this data, you'll be able to find food sources in the category you want when you view the dashboard. In the next question, copy and paste or write the address of your location in the search bar above the map. Be sure to click on the magnifying glass on the side so that the point is placed in the correct spot. Next, mark the days when your source is open. I've selected the everyday option because my source is open all days of the week. Then, select the time when your source generally opens and closes each day in the next two fields. In the first field, the opening time, 6:30 a.m., is selected. In the second field, the closing time, 6 p.m., is selected. These last three fields help the user find out when they can access each location. In the next field, write the phone number associated with your food source. This data can help users get in contact with the locations. For the next question, put a URL to your source's website in the field below. Using this information, users can hear directly from the location about information not included in the survey. If your location does not have a website, you can leave it blank. The last two fields are optional, but if you have any images or additional information that you'd like to share with us, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, click Submit. Next, we can tab over to our dashboard, refresh the page, and watch our point automatically populate the dashboard. If you zoom into your area on the map, you can find your point on the map. The graphs and charts on the side will also change to reflect your new data. The indicator on the left shows the number of entries to the survey so far. Underneath is the list element. If you scroll down to the bottom of the list, you will find the newer entries. If you have just submitted a survey, yours will be at the very bottom. You can click your entry on the list, and the map will automatically zoom to your point. Click the Home button on the top to bring the map back to full extent. The pie chart on the right side separates entries by state. If you click on one of the slices, the other elements will filter their data to show only entries in that state. The bar graph on the right separates entries by category. If you click on one of the bars, the other elements will filter their data to show only data in those categories. The map-centric model of our dashboard emphasizes the importance of the locations of the entries in our dashboard. If you change the extent of the map, the other elements of the dashboard will change to reflect it. If you want to add another point to the dashboard, click the hyperlink in the bottom right-hand corner to open the survey. This dashboard is at the heart of our project. It has changed a lot in the several months since its creation, but we are very proud of its progression. It has grown from a very basic beginner's activity to a comprehensive visualization of data from all corners of the country. There's no telling how this project will evolve, but I'm very optimistic about its future. To address the problem of where's the food, we know this depends on partnering and collaborating with other groups and organizations. One partner we have connected with is Mayor President of Baton Rouge, Sharon Weston Broom. Here's a short clip of our interview with her. What changes could you see that our communities, businesses, and restaurants could easily make to offer more healthy choices?
That's a great question. And some of our restaurants have already started doing that through our Mayor's Healthy City initiative. They started putting symbols on healthy choices in some of their restaurants. Of course, one of the things that can happen with all various entities, our community businesses, restaurants, is to make sure that, excuse me, that they have a healthy food inventory at an affordable price. That's very key. You know, we all know there are a number of stores that offer healthy options, but the connection is we have to have healthy, affordable food options so everyone benefits.
In conclusion, food access is a huge problem in America. Using GIS technology, we have collected data from numerous states and we're able to identify areas of concern through analysis. We have since held workshops partnering with expanded food and nutrition programs, FNEP directors, 4-H parish extension agents from surrounding parishes or counties, healthy living program coordinators, and more. Our plan is to reach out to those who have participated in this series, the Louisiana Public Broadcast segment on cultivating food security. It has come to our attention that most communities don't have a food security plan. This is an area of interest we plan to focus on next. Thank you for your time and attention. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Jason. That concludes our presentation.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fran. Must admit, I'm really enjoying sort of having the young people sort of talk about what they're doing in here, and the way that sort of the GIS is actually as a medium or a way to actually have that conversation with, so like the mayor or anywhere like that, or taking the data and being empowered by it. It just reminds me of some of the work we're doing in National Geographic and that idea of the geo-inquiry process. It's okay doing the geo-inquiry, but what are you going to do? And you're actually doing it. And so far, in the two talks we've seen so far, really impressive, really nice.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
Time is not on our side. So now we have Kelly Adams. We'll talk about STEM to STEAM, again, which is another thing close to my heart. I think there's not enough art and STEAM in our GIS work in here. So Kelly, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and leave it to you.
Well, thank you for inviting us to come and present on our STEM to STEAM project that we've been working on. I'm going to let Charles Malone, my co-partner with this, introduce the project to you.
Right. The project was something we designed to try to...
Kelly, so you're actually showing your, not the presentation, you're showing your speaker's notes.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
All right. So just be on one of your other screens.
Did that work or no?
Still, it's back to the same one. You can So it's probably, you need to share, I don't know how many screens you've got, 2 screens or? So if I do that from me, how do I change that?
Did that change it for you guys?
There you go, that's good.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We'll navigate through then. Yes, this is something that we started doing in New York State. Actually, it began about the same time COVID started, and that was advantageous to have this at that time. It's an opportunity or an idea that we've developed to pull in artwork to the science that we're doing from STEM to STEAM. And we've been able to reach a number of different people, audience through different platforms. And we're hoping that what this will do is bring a larger number of youth into mapping, kind of the backdoor approach, because it's been very popular. A lot of people have taken advantages of this. We've worked through the schools and things. Kelly will share a little bit later on some of the platforms that we've worked in. But this is kind of an overview. Kelly's going to share what we've tried to accomplish through this project.
So the basics of our program, we have a Smith-Lever grant with Susan Hoskins through Cornell University and the Department of Crop and Soil Sciences. And that basically funds the positions and the resources to work with the New York State 4-H Geospatial Science Program. And some of our youth are also involved in the national team that Dr. Ray and Fran Harvey's youth are working on as well. So the STEM content that we work with is the maps and the GIS, teaching the youth. This is kind of one of the fun ways to bring them into learning about mapping. We talk about the difference between what soil and dirt is with them. And then that, soil has all these different properties. One of the cool things that happened was a researcher at Cornell University looked at the walls and saw they were doing testing on soil and saw all these major colors from black to white and green and orange, and said, this would be such a great way. I wonder if we can paint with this, and to get people interested in learning about soil through the use of doing some painting. Again, that's kind of how we went from just the STEM that we were doing, and then we added in the art to do the soil painting.
And this is the photo here is an actual homeschool program near where I live. And our audience is, of course, going to be staff who will do in-service training, in-service education, trying to make the multiplier effect. If we can get these people interested, they're going to go out and they're going to reach more students or whatever. Teens and volunteers can be instructors. And it's amazing the wide age range that seems to be interested in working with this, from kids, well, the age of the kids right here that you see, all the way to, we were going to do it with our director, with our leadership team in Extension a couple of months ago. We haven't got there yet because of COVID, but a large number of people. It really helps kids become engaged because they can bring out some of their own talents. I mean, this young lady had everything to do with giraffes. So, I mean, you can see what she painted with her soil. This young man had biological detail on his mind that just surprised us all. He could do it with using soil as the pigment for basic paint.
The different platforms that we've used to help teach and do hands-on soil and art. Because of COVID, we learned how to make this into an online program that you can do, as well as a face-to-face. Created kits and stuff that we can mail out to groups, individual kits for the youth or the participants to paint with. We've done the direct workshops, like we said, teaching other educators and directly to the youth through the 4-H Youth Development Program. It's been involved in community events. We showcase them at our county and state fair and let participants coming through actually get their hands on with painting something. We've done it with the after school programs, homeschool programs, and done it in some of the museums. So Charles is going to tell us a little bit about the one museum that he's presented at.
Right, this was in the middle of COVID when things weren't open, and finally a museum, the Strong Museum and Science Museum in Rochester opened, and they were looking for activities that could be done at a distance or outdoors or whatever. So our educator had set up information inside, a static display talking about what we're doing through this program, how we're drawing youth into science using art. And then when people went outdoors, they could actually fill in part of this mural that you see here. And it turned out beautiful. So, and it was very popular. So it also helped us bring that link. Extension and 4-H had a better and a stronger link with the Science Museum in Rochester.
So again, the training resources that we do, we teach our 4-H educators and teachers and stuff in the community workshops so that they can replicate these programs. We've done it on conference platforms, so to be able to do it virtually, Zoom if we're presenting through ours, as well as probably the webinars to go and things like that. We reference the UC Davis soil web map that's out there that shows all the different layers of soil and what the colors are, so you can zoom into your location and see that. And then we have an information sheet that we mail out to the participants so that they can, look up the activities and the resources that we've used for those workshops. And we're working this summer with an intern to create a actual activity list of how to do a curriculum that we can make a kit based so that they can do it in person or virtually. So inside the kit, we have different soil samples that we've gathered from around the whole world. We've gotten a lot from local areas and we mark them so people can see what they are and where they came from, so they get that geospatial location. And then you can use an art medium called gesso, but in our kits, we use a clear glue because it's non-toxic. And so, it's easier for the kids to use and stuff. And then we give them little cups with lids to put their soils in and combine it with the glue and water to create the paint. It makes the pigment. And then we give them, something that they can paint on and some brushes and plate for a palette.
They've got to supply a few things. One of the things that we've got to keep with a great deal of intentionality is pulling the science in, because the art part can just take over, the art aspect of it can just take over, and they really get into that. And Kelly had mentioned the UC Davis soil map website. Do we have a minute to go to that?
We have 2 minutes.
Okay. And help anybody, young people, middle school, high school, whatever, understand that properties can be data, and data can be placed on maps as a layer. So right now, what we've got, we're zooming in. This is a camp. Are you seeing that, by the way? Are you seeing the UC Davis?
Got time.
Okay. So yesterday we actually had, can you see my cursor? This is a 4-H camp. We had a New York State STEM science program there yesterday, and this was one of the activities. So we zoomed in and showed the participants where we're located and the information that you can get if you click on this TKB soil type, where we're at. And by the way, everybody, even though we have soils from all over the state, all over the country, wherever, we have to collect soil from where we're at. That's just part of what's required. And at that campsite yesterday, you can see that the tunconic soil is the majority of the makeup of soil in that area. And when you click on it, you get a profile. And part of the profile characteristics that show is color. So, and you can carry this a lot further. We could actually do profiles and see if it's really true to the colors that we find or whatever, but always trying to make the participants understand the relationship between maps and the artwork that we're doing. So that's an overview.
All right, so we'll just go back to do a quick wrap up here. So, sorry, show you back to our PowerPoint. Can you see the plane right? I don't know which screen I'm on. Sorry about that. So one of the things that after we do the kit is just we mail those out to individuals. So we may send a box with 10 kits in there for them to work with, and then the soil acquisition, we give them directions of how to actually get the soil and sift it and get it down to a consistency that they can use to create that pigment to be able to paint with. All right, so our last slide just talks about our connection information. So we can put that in the chat for you all as well. And that concludes our presentation on our soil painting project.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Charles. How cool is that? I really like that. I was just looking at the young girl with the giraffe. I'm thinking maybe she had some soil from Botswana, and she paints animals from the country where the soil's taken, and you can only draw those animals that are related to those colours.
I've got soil from the Dead Sea.
Yeah, yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. So we have 5 minutes left. Rosemary, are there questions in the chat? I saw some text coming through.
Yes. So any one of our presenters could probably answer this, but what aspects of GIS tools and methods do the students find most interesting?
I think just going down through and looking at some of the information we could find on the UC Davis map, it's just a plethora of information that map in and of itself provides. And I think we find that the older the students, the more they'll be asking, for that kind of data. And another thing that we can do, we haven't really done it very much, but we can actually have the kids put in, use their information in story maps. And Kelly's kind of taken the lead on that. We're really pulling story map technology, I guess you'd call it, into this project and using them together. I don't know, to answer your question, I'm not exactly sure which aspects of mapping that the participants find most exciting. That'd be a good question to ask them.
As a student, I think that looking at things on a bigger scale is very interesting to me. Like, it's pretty cool to see a map of your hometown and stuff, but seeing maps of the country, of the world, it can be kind of overwhelming, but it also helps you, get out of your shell and dream bigger. And I think that is a really important part of mapping for students.
Thank you for sharing. We don't have that much time left. So Kelly, how did you get soils from around the world?
So when we first learned about soil painting, we were working with an artist and researcher from Cornell University, Kirsten Kurtz, and you can go to soilpainting.com to see the research that she's done. But so they were testing soils from all over the world, and so they had samples up on their bookshelves, and so that's how she was like, "Oh, look at all these colors." And now, like Charles said, we look at the soil profiles and try to see if we're traveling somewhere or if we know somebody. Hey, can you send us some soil? And we get it dried out and turned into the almost silty kind so that we can make the pigments.
We get it. I've had colleagues. I have a colleague out in Colorado, on the very western part of Colorado, and she knew that it was difficult for us to find the dark, almost black soil samples. So she was going down the road and saw a gopher, prairie dog hole being dug. Stopped the car, dug up a couple of pounds, and sent it to us. But what we do is we always label the soils that are sent in the kits with location information so that they can use that if they want to take their artwork and relate it to a map one way or another.
Great. And Thomas, I see you wrote something in the chat. Do you want to ask that question?
Yeah, sure. Jalen, can you share a little bit about the tutorial videos that you made to demo the web app?
Yes, sir. So, how I made the tutorial videos was, wait, do you want me to explain how I made them?
Whatever you want to tell about them.
Okay, so, I love making videos left and right, especially, when recording YouTube videos and just making videos in general. And see, when Thomas offered me to do the tutorial videos, I was actually pretty honored, to be honest, because like I said, I love making videos and something to record digitally with my voice. So that's how I got into making the tutorial videos. So how I made them was I made them on a mobile device. I used my phone and a simple screen recorder, and I also used a cheap microphone. I mean, if you want to record videos like these, my best advice to you is that you don't have to worry about expensive stuff. Like you don't have to worry about the stuff that you need to have the good quality voice and stuff like that. Sometimes you just have to start small, you know. And that's what I did with the tutorial videos. I used my phone and a cheap iPhone microphone. That's literally all you need. That's all you need. It doesn't matter how terrible your mic is. It's just you getting the point across is what matters to me, in my opinion. So I got on, started recording the videos for the GIS thing, and I was actually it was a pretty fun experience. And yeah, that's practically how I made the videos.
Okay. Well, we're just on time. You've brought us right up to the end of the time there, Jane. Much appreciated. Yeah. So thanks everybody for coming to this session here. I found it hugely inspiring to see the action and the things that young people can take and do. Particularly, I was in another session previous to this as well. So I'm seeing lots and lots of young people really picking up this technology and actually doing stuff with it and trying to make a change in now. And I find it hugely inspiring. Thank you all very much again. And hopefully I'll see you in another session, or if not in San Diego in 2022. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.